Well, Grand Rising Garden family, welcome back to the sanctuary and welcome to New Life with me, Chele. If you've been with us on this literary journey, you know we've been diving deep into the original blueprints of identity, purpose, and spiritual architecture, the book of Adam and Eve. And as we move on into episode 5, let's just take a little pause because I want to recap and just talk a little bit about one of my favorite parts that we had on last episode, the end of chapter 8.
See, the text tells us that before their transgression, Adam and Eve didn't just see the world the way you and I do. They had perfect divine vision. They could see like God. Think about that. They were actively looking into heavenly dimensions, seeing the angels and witnessing the glorious light of the celestial realms. But the moment they stepped out of alignment, that upper dimensional sight vanished. They weren't sad because they were stuck in a dark cave. They were grieving because they could no longer see the beauty of the heavenly things around them. They lost their perfect vision. And so today, as we read in episode 5, we're looking at what happens when humanity has to adjust to walking in the dark. They're desperate to get that divine sight back. So we've opened our book. Let's sit down together and look at the blueprint. So we're going to start right here, chapter 9. And then Adam and Eve came out of the cave of treasures and drew near to the garden gate. And there they stood to look at it and wept for having come away from it. And Adam and Eve went from before the gate of the garden to the southern side of it, and found there the water that watered the garden from the root of the tree of life, and that parted itself from thence into 4 rivers over the earth. Then they came out and drew near to that water, and looked at it, and saw that it was the water that came forth from under the root of the tree of life in the garden. And Adam wept and wailed, and smote upon his breast for being severed from the garden, and said to Eve, Why hast thou brought upon me, upon thyself, and upon our seed, so many of these plagues and punishments? And Eve said unto him, What is it thou hast seen to weep, and to speak to me in this wise? And he said to Eve, Seeing thou not this water that was with us in the garden, that watered the trees of the garden, and flowed out thence? And when we were in the garden, did not care about it. But since we came out to this strange land, we love it, and turn it to us for our body. But when Eve heard these words from him, she wept. And from the soreness of their weeping, they fell into that water, and would have put an end to themselves in it, so as to never again to return and behold the creation. For when they looked upon the work of creation, they felt they must put an end to themselves. Then God, merciful and gracious, looked upon them, thus lying in the water, and nigh unto death, and sent an angel, who brought them out of the water, and laid them on the seashore as dead. Then the angel went up to God, was welcomed, and said, O God, thy creatures have breathed their last. Then God sent his word unto Adam and Eve, who raised them from their death. And Adam said, after he was raised, O God, while we were in the garden, we did not require or care for this water. But since we came to this land, we cannot do without it. Then God said to Adam, While while thou wast under my command, and wast a bright angel, thou knewest not this water. But after thou hast transgressed my commandment, thou canst not do without water, wherein to wash thy body and make it grow, for it is now like that of beasts, and is in want of water. When Adam and Eve heard these words from God, they wept a bitter cry. And Adam entreated God to let him return into the garden and look at it a second time. But God said unto Adam, I have made thee a promise. When that promise is fulfilled, I will bring thee back into the garden, thee and thy righteous seed. And God ceased to commune with Adam. Now let's take a pause right here in the book. Take a deep breath and let that settle in. Just look at the contrast that we just witnessed between chapter 9 and 10. In chapter 9, we see Adam and Eve hit a wall of absolute physical and emotional exhaustion. So they're completely drained, fainting on the floor, the cave. And they are actually, in my opinion, overwhelmed, right, by the weight of their new reality. In fact, they're crying, they're sad, but they are just literally walking out what it looks like when that divine vision we talked about is completely gone, and you're trying to navigate in the dark. And then, you see that the moment they hit the floor, Chapter 10 opens up with that sovereign grace of the Creator. So he didn't just come to condemn them for fainting. His word came to lift them up, and it gave them strength. And he commands them to stand, right? And he gives them a promise of comfort. He tells them right there, I promised you, I'm going to save you and your righteous seed. And so this is right here is just a beautiful architectural reminder for our own lives today. Sometimes the transition out of an old season does make you feel completely fainted, weary, tired, and just stuck in a dark place. But when you're in alignment, hitting the floor is just the setup for the word to tell you to stand up, right? So you know that your exhaustion doesn't stop his provision. So that's what's so glorious. That's what we have. And that's one of the reasons I'm loving this book. It's just a wonderful reminder. So with that, let's turn the page together and see how they respond to this strength as we move into chapter 11. Chapter 11. Then Adam and Eve felt themselves burning with thirst and heat and sorrow. And Adam said to Eve, We shall not drink of this water, even if we were to die. O Eve, when this water comes into our inner parts, it will increase our punishments and that of our children that shall come after us. Both Adam and Eve then withdrew from the water and drank none of it at all, but came and entered the cave of treasures. But when in it, Adam could not see Eve. He only heard the noise she made. Neither could she see Adam, but heard the noise he made. Then Adam wept in deep affliction, and smote upon his breast. And he arose and said to Eve, Where art thou? And she said unto him, Lo, I am standing in this darkness. He then said to her, Remember the bright nature in which we lived while we abode in the garden? O Eve, remember the glory that rested on us in the garden? O Eve, remember the trees that overshadowed us in the garden while we moved among them? O Eve, remember that while we were in the garden, we knew neither night nor day. Think of the tree of life, from below which flowed the water, and that shed luster over us. Remember, O Eve, the garden land, and the brightness thereof? Think, oh, think of that garden in which was no darkness while we dwelt therein. Whereas no sooner did we come into this cave of treasures than darkness compassed us round about, until we can no longer see each other, and all the pleasure of this life has come to an end. Chapter 12. Then Adam smote upon his breast, he and Eve, and they mourned the whole night until dawn drew near, and they sighed over the length of the night in Mayasia. And Adam beat himself and threw himself on the ground in the cave from bitter grief and because of the darkness, and lay there as dead. But Eve heard the noise he made in falling upon the earth, and she felt about for him with her hands, and found him like a corpse. Then she was afraid and speechless, and remained by him. But the merciful Lord looked on the death of Adam, and on Eve's silence from fear of the darkness. And when the word of God came unto Adam, and raised him from his death, and opened Eve's mouth that she might speak, then Adam arose in the cave, and said, O God, wherefore has light departed from us, and darkness come over us? Wherefore dost thou leave us in this long darkness? Why wilt thou plague us thus? And this darkness, O Lord, where was it ere it came upon us? It is such that we cannot see each other. For so long as we were in the garden, we never saw nor even knew what darkness is. I was not hidden from Eve, neither was she hidden from me, until now that she cannot see me, and no darkness came upon us to separate us from each other. But she and I were both in one bright light. I saw her, and she saw me. Yet now, since we came into this cave, darkness has come upon us, and parted us asunder, so that I do not see her, and she does not see me. O Lord, will thou then plague us with this darkness? All right now. So these final chapters were pretty amazing, y'all. We went on out to chapter 12 because these are coming pretty short. I like that. But I'm telling you, in these little short chapters, we're seeing some really amazing things. I thought it was pretty interesting that they have killed themselves and been brought back to life again. I find that very interesting that God continues to spare them. We see Adam, dying right there at the end, and it seems like he sent the word to Eve. And that's when Adam raised up from his death. So I thought that was pretty interesting too. All of this book I'm finding very, very interesting. What is your favorite part? Just let me know in the comments. I'd love to know how you feel about the current reading that we're having of the conflict of Adam and Eve with Satan, and what we're finding here as we're reading. I think we're learning that walking in the dark makes you appreciate the true source of light. And we see how they really appreciated the light once they were in the dark. And, when we lose our alignment, our vision gets cloudy. When they came out of alignment, they lost their divine sight. So what we start doing in our reality is we start looking at our circumstances instead of the higher dimensions that we were created to dwell in. And I'll tell you this, the story doesn't end in the cave. If you're ready to rebuild your internal architecture, if you want to clear out the heavy overgrowth from your mind and realign your sight with the original designs of peace and rest, I want to encourage you to go deeper. And both of my books, Echoes of Eden and Reclaim Mine, are fully available for you on Amazon right now. And so if you want to grab your copies, fortify your blueprint, just tap our channel name. That's all you got to do. Just tap on at New Life with Michelle right here on your screen and just head on over to our main hub. The direct link tree is waiting for you right there in our bio with all the resources for you. Please be sure, if you like this video, please be sure to give it a like and drop your thoughts and comments about today's reading. That helps this get pushed out to other people that likes things like this. So go ahead and drop a quick comment, even your favorite emoji, and subscribe to the garden. Don't forget to hit all notifications so you'll never miss a peaceful moment. And keep abiding in that peace, y'all. Keep guarding your vision. I want to see you in the next chapter, so I'm going to see you there. And until next time, dear friends, I'm sending you peace, love, and blessings.